Last night on Saturday Night Live, Colin Jost came back live and clearly made a joke at Blakelively.
Zelensky was asked to leave the White House. Then he appeared on Fox News and said he thinks he can still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like JustinBaldoni saying, "I'd love to work with Blake again."
Hollywood just witnessed one of the most spectacular PR disasters in recent memory. Blakelively and Ryan Reynolds, once the golden couple of Tinseltown, have officially gone from Hollywood royalty to industry-wide punchlines. And guess what? It all unraveled live on national television, thanks to none other than Saturday Night Live. This isn't just a scandal, it's an all-out career-destroying implosion. Imagine this. One of the biggest nights in SNL history, their 50th anniversary special, a night meant to celebrate half a century of comedy, a time for Hollywood's biggest names to revel in nostalgia. But instead of a heartwarming tribute, the stage was set for absolute destruction.
You realize and think this was all orchestrated and planned. This was his WME and people getting in and giving Lauren Michaels and Saturday Night Live sort of the opportunity to get them there first, to sort of address it.
Colin Jost, a seasoned Weekend Update anchor and, more importantly, Scarlett Johansson's husband, yes, Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, took the stage and delivered a gut punch of a joke that left the entire room in stunned silence. Before anyone could even register what had happened, the awkward tension turned into nervous laughter, the kind that makes you cringe rather than actually enjoy the moment. This wasn't just a typical SNL roast. This was Hollywood sending a message. Blakelively, once the untouchable A-lister, was now fair game. And the fact that Colin Jost, a man who has every reason to hold a grudge against Ryan Reynolds, was the one to take the first shot, it wasn't just coincidence. This was calculated.
Now you're poking fun at it. So now it's just a big joke? This whole thing's a joke? This is absolute cringeworthy, and they should be ashamed.
The industry was washing its hands of Blake and Ryan, and SNL was simply the vehicle delivering the final blow. The audience might have laughed, but everyone in that room knew what was really happening. Blakelively had just lost the one thing she had spent years carefully crafting, her industry protection.
Ryan Reynolds and Blakelively make their first public appearance at Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary. They made a joke about it all.
And just when we thought it couldn't get worse, Ryan Reynolds, the self-proclaimed king of wit, obliterated his own career in real time. When Tina Fey and Amy Poehler tossed him the easiest, most harmless question, "How's it going, Ryan?" all he had to do was smile and nod. But no, he just had to be clever. His response? "Great. Why? What have you heard?" Cue instant regret. The energy in the room shifted.
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Those weren't real laughs, people. Those were the laughs of secondhand embarrassment. Even Hollywood legend Steven Spielberg looked like he wanted to evaporate on the spot. The tension in the air was thick, the kind that signals an impending industry-wide reckoning. And sitting next to Ryan, Blakelively, whose stone-cold glare could cut glass because she knew, oh, she knew. This was the moment the entire industry turned on them.
They got some laughs, a little uncomfortable from Anna Taylor, and then Kevin Costner just didn't react at all.
Ryan had just given Hollywood exactly what it needed. Confirmation that they were fair game. What should have been a smooth, diplomatic appearance turned into a self-inflicted PR catastrophe. The audience wasn't just laughing at Ryan. They were reveling in his downfall. Hollywood power players were exchanging knowing glances, as if signaling that the tides had officially turned. The man who built his brand on quick wit and snark had finally outsnarked himself into oblivion. Now, let's get to the real meat of this disaster, the scandal that had been brewing for months. For those living under a rock, Blake and Ryan had been desperately avoiding the spotlight due to a mind-blowing $400 million lawsuit involving It Ends With Us director JustinBaldoni. And yet, despite all the red flags, despite knowing that they were already skating on thin ice, they walked into SNL like they owned the room. That confidence? It was delusional. Big mistake. Because that audience, they knew.
Did they rewrite the SNL scripts too? Terrible humans.
Hollywood had already moved on. The industry was done pretending that these two were untouchable. The minute they stepped into that studio, it was game over.
They chose to make the butt of the joke on her, not on him.
Instead of staying out of the limelight, rebuilding their reputations, or even just laying low, they doubled down on the arrogance. Ryan thought he could quip his way out of trouble, and Blake thought she could charm her way back into Hollywood's good graces. But Hollywood had other plans. By the time they walked out of that studio, the damage had been done. The industry smelled blood in the water, and what followed was a media feeding frenzy.
This shows SNL playing its cards of, yeah, they're clearly they know Blake Lively is crazy. And given the appearance, she's going to have this same reaction of, wait a second, why are you making fun of me? I thought you had our back, Sarah Live. What's going on?
Sources started leaking behind-the-scenes gossip about their toxic power moves. Insiders whispered about their downfall and the lawsuit. Oh, that $400 million lawsuit became the talk of the town. Blake and Ryan didn't just lose Hollywood's support that night. They handed it over on a silver platter.
Is it not a little hypocritical? Is this a bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this in public?
Blake Lively spent years crafting the perfect Hollywood sweetheart image, America's feminist darling, the effortlessly charming A-lister. But behind the scenes, sources claim she was an absolute nightmare. Manipulative, power-hungry, and controlling. And the cracks in her facade, they split wide open. It was a carefully curated fantasy, but Hollywood insiders had seen enough.
Ryan used his Nice Pool character in Deadpool and Wolverine to mock JustinBaldoni. Wolverine character Nice Pool with the man bun on JustinBaldoni.
Word
Reality
began spreading
decided
about her
to
alleged
bulldoze.
diva behavior, and the final nail in the coffin, a now infamous 2024 interview disaster. During what should have been a routine, feel-good press event, a journalist politely congratulated Blake on her pregnancy. What did she do? Instead of smiling and thanking her, she snapped back, "Congrats on yours."
And Kirsty just wanted to ask Blake Lively a question about, first and foremost, Blake Lively was pregnant while she was filming this. So she opens up with just like a nice compliment about her cute little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And they are.
One problem: the journalist wasn't pregnant, and it gets worse. The journalist had previously shared her struggles with infertility. The backlash? Nuclear. Social media exploded overnight. The press, which had once been Blake's best friend, turned on her instantly.
She was similarly rude, and I think that in her modern feminist mind, she thinks that when she's being rude, she's taking a stance for women, and she's not. Ironically, she's trying her hardest in that interview not to be a woman when she's asked that question, like, you can't ask me about pregnancy, you can't ask me about outfits.
And suddenly, the carefully maintained PR image started crumbling. Former colleagues began speaking out. Set insiders started whispering about how toxic and difficult she had been to work with. The cracks in her America's Sweetheart act weren't just forming, they were shattering. And speaking of PR nightmares, let's not forget Ryan's Deadpool disaster. When the lawsuit first broke, did Ryan take the high road? Absolutely not. Instead, he turned JustinBaldoni into a mock character in Deadpool and Wolverine, complete with cringeworthy feminist overtones and pathetic satire. It was immature, embarrassing, and Hollywood saw right through it. The Deadpool and Wolverine production was supposed to be his saving grace, a return to the smart, snappy humor that made him famous.
In Deadpool Wolverine, you used Deadpool Wolverine to mock this guy in the film that your wife disagreed with and didn't get along with. It's so hard to process.
But instead, it exposed him. Rather than staying quiet and handling his legal troubles behind closed doors, Ryan doubled down. He made Baldoni a laughingstock in the film, twisting his public persona into a humiliating parody. But here's the problem: Hollywood wasn't laughing. The industry saw it for what it was, a desperate attempt to distract from the real scandal. And instead of turning the tide in his favor, it backfired. Social media erupted with criticism. Fans who had once worshipped his quick wit turned on him. Insiders who had been quietly watching from the sidelines decided to speak up. The studio execs, who once saw Ryan as a box office guarantee, started questioning if he was becoming a PR liability. The character assassination of Baldoni didn't land the way Ryan had hoped. Instead of looking like the hilarious, self-aware genius he thought he was, he came off as bitter and insecure. And suddenly, Hollywood started distancing itself. Ryan Reynolds, the beloved Hollywood darling, was no longer a sure thing, and that was only the beginning of the fallout. And now for the real bombshell. Ryan Reynolds wasn't just the supportive husband standing in the background. Oh no, he was allegedly a key player in the takedown of JustinBaldoni. Reports claim that in March 2024, Ryan himself attended a top-secret meeting with Sony execs and PR masterminds. The goal? Erase Baldoni from Hollywood. And guess what? It worked. Sony reportedly blindsided Baldoni, locking him out of his own film, his own passion project. Also, Blake could have total control. But karma? She's got a mean left hook because that power move backfired spectacularly. When Hollywood got wind of it, they didn't just turn on Blake. They turned on both of them. By January 2025, Ryan Reynolds had gone from Hollywood's golden boy to a full-blown legal liability. His industry connections? Drying up. His co-stars? Silent. The same people who once worshipped him were suddenly acting like they had never met him. His quick wit and charm couldn't save him now. He was radioactive. And Blake? Oh, she wasn't doing any better. Studios began quietly backing away, her PR team scrambling to spin the headlines. But it was too late. The illusion of the Hollywood power couple was shattered. Blake's carefully crafted image as a feminist icon and America's sweetheart had crumbled. And when the heat turned up, she panicked. Instead of taking responsibility, Blake allegedly hired none other than Nick Shapiro, a former CIA fixer known for controlling media narratives and burying scandals. You heard that right. This is the same man who was deeply involved in covering up the infamous Hunter Biden laptop scandal. That's right. Blake went full scorched earth mode, calling in a master manipulator to erase the damage.
Blakelively and Ryan Reynolds have hired former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public, gaslighting the public.
But here's the real kicker. Hollywood doesn't forgive a power-hungry actress who tries to rewrite history. They tolerate scandals. They survive bad press. But what they won't stand for, someone who tries to outmaneuver the system. And that's exactly what Blake did. The entertainment industry isn't sentimental. It loves a rising star, but it loves a spectacular downfall even more. The second Hollywood sensed weakness, it pounced. Blake and Ryan weren't golden anymore. They were dead weight. The final blow? No one in the industry was rushing to defend them. No celebrities tweeting in solidarity. No A-list friends coming to their aid. Just silence. And if there's one thing that speaks louder than any scandal in Hollywood, silence. SNL wasn't just a roast, it was a public execution. That night, Colin Jost delivered the final blow. And Hollywood? They took the cue. The industry has moved on, and Blake and Ryan? They're officially out. As for JustinBaldoni, he may have lost control of his film, but in the long run, he won the war. Hollywood saw through the power plays, and now he's the one with industry backing, while Blake and Ryan scramble to pick up the pieces. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially witnessed the biggest career collapse in modern Hollywood history. The rise, the fall, and the downright brutal takedown. This saga isn't over yet. So, what do you think? Was this the moment Hollywood finally turned on Blake and Ryan? Or is there still a chance they claw their way back? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more of the juiciest Hollywood scandals, celebrity breakdowns, and exclusive insider gossip, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.